Phil Spencer says that Xbox are quote-unquote not putting walls up on where people can play great games. Jimmy Butler got suspended again, and the developers of Gears of War Judgment are teaming up with the Coalition for Gears of War E-Day. Those are the 3 news pieces coming up in this week's episode of 2 for 1. In a recent episode of the Gamertag Radio podcast, Xbox head Phil Spencer joined hosts Danny Pena and Paris Lilly to discuss all things Xbox. Lilly asked Spencer to elaborate on what the future holds for Xbox as the company continues to forgo hardware exclusives. In response, Spencer asked, quote, "I want people to be able to experience the games that we build, the services that we offer on as many devices as we can," unquote. After making a point about developers wanting their games accessible to as many players as possible, Spencer further stated, quote, "There aren't many platforms out there that try to build connections to people through so many different screens," unquote. Microsoft has clearly struggled to keep pace with Sony and Nintendo in the console hardware market, so they're shifting to a service model via Game Pass makes sense and has been a strategy for them for a long time now. The Jimmy Butler saga continues as the Miami Heat forward is once again suspended, but this time indefinitely. In a statement, the Heat wrote that, quote, "The suspension is due to a continued pattern of disregard of team rules, engaging in conduct detrimental to the team, and intentionally withholding services. This includes walking out of practice earlier today," unquote. It's reported that Butler walked off after being notified that he wouldn't be a starter in the game against Orlando, which the Heat actually managed to win in double overtime. Butler, man, at this point, you're just being petty and losing millions in the process. But this is nothing new for Jimmy Buckets. I feel all the Timberwolves fans are seeing this drama and looking at Heat fans like that meme from James Franco. And lastly, developer People Can Fly, the studio that worked on Gears of War Judgment, announced that they'll be joining the Coalition as development partners for Gears of War E-Day, the upcoming and much anticipated prequel to the Gears of War franchise. Nothing was shared about what the studio will be helping with specifically, and although Judgment wasn't as highly praised as the original trilogy, People Can Fly's history with the franchise and love for its world should bode well for the game and hopefully result in a positive partnership with the Coalition. Gears is one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time, so I really hope E-Day turns out well. Alright, that's all for today. If you want to read the full news articles, head over to pixel-switch.com, and I'll see you next week.